Alrighty, welcome to NoDQ&A video right here on NoDQ.com as well as the YouTube channel and NoDQ&A videos affiliate ringsidenews.com. We have WWE Payback this weekend. NoDQ.com has got you covered for the very latest news, rumors, and of course, live results coverage of Payback on the WWE Network. Got your questions here, got a lot of your questions, trying to get through as many as possible. Also, make sure you check out the text version of NoDQ&A video up on NoDQ.com. First question today comes from Tom. Looks like the new generation of NXT is the old generation of TNA. Thoughts on WWE signing Eric Young? I'm not surprised that Eric Young has finally made it into WWE. He is part of NXT now officially, and I expect both him and Bobby Roode to have a deep run in NXT and possibly, or even likely, have a successful run on the main roster. I think both of them will end up on the main roster eventually, especially Bobby Roode. Eric Young, I'm not sure how far he'll go in WWE. I think Bobby Roode has more potential to go further, but I think Eric Young is strong enough as a promo and strong enough in the ring that he should be able to succeed to some degree in WWE. So I'm happy for both of them. Like I've said in the past, I'm happy that both Bobby Roode and Eric Young are getting the opportunities in WWE. And it's just a shame. You look at NXT right now, and there's so many TNA guys in NXT right now. And it just goes to show how TNA had these guys, they had these talented performers, they just didn't know what to do with them. NXT right now, a lot of people have said it, and I would agree that NXT in 2016 is what TNA should have been all along. And I got this question here from Cheese. Do you think Eric Young will get to keep his maniac gimmick or have a different gimmick? That seems to be the cool thing about NXT and signing talents from TNA. It seems like WWE is not trying to recreate these characters, instead allowing these guys to continue using similar gimmicks to what they were doing in other promotions. We've seen Samoa Joe come in and basically continue to be the Samoan submission machine and getting to keep his name and all that stuff. Eric Young came in his first night and he got to have his same ring attire that he had, his same beard, his same haircut, the same look that he had last time we saw him in TNA, which was a couple of days ago at the TNA Sacrifice show, which was taped several months back. It does look like Eric Young will continue to do his own character, and I really think that that's for the best. These guys should be allowed to go out there and be themselves and do what works best for them, rather than being given a gimmick that they don't really believe in. They need to go out there and do their own thing and be themselves, and I think that gives them their best chance for success. And this one comes from Nader. Do you believe WWE or NXT in this case would allow Eric Young to perform the piledriver? He makes it look devastating. My guess is that it would be a Vince McMahon call. Of course, there's the concern about piledrivers and how dangerous they are, and we've seen over the years guys getting hurt from piledrivers, but Eric Young has been doing the piledriver in TNA for a while now, and it hasn't really resulted in anybody getting hurt. I'm not sure what's going to happen with that. It could be similar to AJ Styles, where WWE will not outright ban it completely, but they might encourage him to come up with a new finisher. So time will tell. In today's era, who knows? There have been times where the piledriver has been banned, then it was allowed again, then it was banned again, and WWE will go back and forth on it. So it's really hard to say at this point if he'll be allowed to keep doing it. And I haven't heard whether he did it or not at the NXT show when he faced Samoa Joe. I'm sure if he did do it, I would have heard about it. So we'll see what happens with that. Alright, this one comes from Clemens. Do you think Seth Rollins should get a new finisher and new theme when he returns? And what should his finisher be? Please answer in video. I think it depends on what Seth Rollins is doing when he returns. If he is coming back and feuding with Triple H, then it would make sense to have him continue doing the pedigree. I think the whole purpose in him doing the pedigree was to plant the seeds for a feud against Triple H. Now, if Seth Rollins is coming back and he's not feuding with Triple H, then I would have him come back and have a new finisher. I'd like to see the curb stomp return. I know a lot of people have talked about wanting to see that move be brought back, and it goes back to that previous question about Eric Young. WWE can always change their mind about the curb stomp being banned, and Seth Rollins could be allowed to do it again. You know, it goes back and forth with moves. Sometimes a move is deemed too dangerous. Other times the company decides to allow it again. I just hope that they give him a nice finisher, something that is unique and fits him. He did the curb stomp so well. It's just a shame they had to change his move. But yeah, I mean, I would definitely keep the pedigree if he's going to be going against Triple H and, you know, have that be part of the storyline. Alright, this one comes from Lewis. With the Wyatt family turning face and Bray being injured, who do you see as Lesnar's opponent at SummerSlam? I think there's two very solid choices for Brock Lesnar's SummerSlam opponent. The first is Randy Orton, which I talked about last week. Two of the biggest stars of the past 10 years in WWE. That would be a SummerSlam main event right there. You could build SummerSlam around that match. The other possible opponent is Kevin Owens, but I would like to see Kevin Owens go over if they did that match. I mean, I really feel WWE has failed to elevate somebody from Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar beating the streak should have been designed to eventually have someone beat the guy that beat the streak, and you cement that guy as a top star. And WWE really did not do that with Roman Reigns at WrestleMania last year, and then Lesnar went on to feud with Undertaker. I would like to see a new star beat Brock Lesnar and really put that guy on the map. So if Kevin Owens is going to face Brock Lesnar, I would have Kevin Owens be that guy to beat Brock Lesnar. Otherwise, if you do Orton versus Lesnar, you could have Lesnar win that one. I would go with one of those two matches for SummerSlam. Alright, this one comes from Mark. What do you think of Bray Wyatt winning Money in the Bank and facing Roman Reigns when their roles are swapped? That's an interesting question. I mean, I think that Bray Wyatt getting hurt has stalled his momentum, but he should be able to come back and get a big reaction from the fans and continue his run as a babyface. That could be an interesting idea to have Bray Wyatt win Money in the Bank. I know a lot of people want to see him get a run on top, and as a babyface, I mean, he could very well get really hot as a babyface. We haven't really been able to see how well he can do as a babyface, but I think he would do very well, and he is certainly a possible candidate. He should be able to be in that match. He should be returning in time for Money in the Bank. Will they swap roles? That I'm not so sure about. I'm still very unsure about WWE turning Roman Reigns heel. I think that they are going to stick to their guns and continue pushing him as John Cena 2.0. So I'm not expecting that. If Roman Reigns loses to a heel, I could see Bray Wyatt cashing in on that heel champion. Alright, this one comes from Jishnu. Hey Aaron, what's the deal with Undertaker? He is added and removed back and forth. Is the bad news coming? Is he really retiring? There have been a lot of different stories about Undertaker. One report that he didn't want to go to Europe because of the terrorist threats. Another report that he was injured. It's hard to say. I think only one person knows, and that's Undertaker, if he's going to wrestle again. We could see him wrestle one more time. I mean, there's always that idea of hyping up the Undertaker's final match and building WrestleMania around a match that we know is going to be Undertaker's last match, but maybe he doesn't want it that way. Maybe he just wants to quietly retire and go off into the sunset. Like I said, only Undertaker really knows the answer to that, if he's going to be back. I think if he's healthy and he can do a match, I think he'll keep wrestling at least once a year until he decides it's time to hang it up. And maybe halfway through the year, he'll decide he's done. I mean, it's really hard to say at this point. I really think anything can happen one way or another with Undertaker. Alright, this one comes from @Lee_Nijma. Now that Cesaro is back, do you think he'll get a world title shot? I like your shirt in episode number 790. Where can I get one? Regarding the shirt, I think if you're talking about I think it was the Freddie Mercury, Freddy Krueger shirt, but a couple of those horror shirts that I have, I got from redbubble.com. They have various different designs on there. Regarding your wrestling question here about Cesaro being in the world title picture, I could see him maybe getting a title shot, but winning the world title I think is very unlikely right now. I think it's more likely he stays in the IC title picture, and if he doesn't beat Miz at Payback, he'll eventually beat Miz for the title and have a run as IC champion. I do not see Cesaro becoming world champion, but who knows? We could get a Cesaro as IC champion versus Roman Reigns champion versus champion match on Raw, something like that, a fan's choice match, and Roman Reigns beats him, but I'm not expecting anything beyond that. Alright, this one comes from @NickEasy. Is there any stipulation matches you would like to see on NXT? I would like to see a steel cage or TLC match. I'm trying to think which ones they haven't done yet in NXT. I think a steel cage match might be fitting for Finn Balor versus Samoa Joe, their rubber match, or not really their rubber match because Finn Balor won the first two. I would like to see some kind of stipulation match settle their feud once and for all. They're scheduled to face on the June 8th special, and I think that would be a very fitting time to do a stipulation match. Cage match seems good to me. I'm all for that. I mean, we've already seen ladder matches headline the NXT TakeOver shows, so why not do a steel cage match? I mean, I'm definitely all for it, and that would be a good grudge match to settle that feud and really end things between those guys. Alright, this one comes from Beast Slayer. What are your thoughts on Conor McGregor reportedly coming to WWE? Well, I think we all jumped the gun a little bit. I mean, Conor McGregor, what he ended up doing was a publicity stunt, but the people in UFC were not happy about it, and he's currently off that UFC 200 card. And who knows what's going to happen with Conor McGregor and UFC, but it's not like he can just walk out on his contract and go to WWE. So if that day comes that Conor McGregor goes to WWE, it's not going to be anytime soon. Maybe a year, maybe a couple years down the line, maybe when his MMA fighting career is completely done, we'll see him in WWE. But all the hype about Conor McGregor going to WWE, I think a lot of that was just fueled by WWE themselves. They did a YouTube video teasing it. They had Becky Lynch tweet out about him coming to WWE, and that got people interested and speculating. But right now, I mean, he's still got that contract, and he would have major legal repercussions if he tried to go to WWE at this point. So that is not going to happen right away. Alright, this one comes from anyone but Roman, @NotAaronRift. Do you think King Barrett is written off TV for good, or could you see him coming out as a babyface until he possibly leaves? I really feel WWE has nothing for Wade Barrett, so my guess is they'll just keep him off TV. They have so many people, there's such a huge roster, so many guys with so few spots. I do not see King Barrett being brought back unless it's for a squash match. I don't see them bringing in King Barrett and giving him a new storyline unless he signs a new deal with the company. If he's not signing, then there's really no need to have him on television. They have plenty of guys that can put over other people. They have Zack Ryder and Damian Sandow that they can use as enhancement talent. So why bring back Barrett and give him exposure if he's not coming back to the company? Alright, last one today comes from Noah Caboose, not Noah Donish. Hey Aaron, thoughts on the Hardy versus Hardy match on Impact from Tuesday? This was last week. I normally don't watch TNA, but I thought it was solid even though it was the same story from 2009. I thought it was a good match, but I mean, it's TNA at this point, and nothing TNA does really matters anymore. It's just a show on television, And to me, it's a dead brand, and nothing is going to make things better for TNA at this point. So I like the storyline. I think it's entertaining. I think it's better than what WWE did, actually. I thought WWE did a terrible job with the Hardy versus Hardy storyline. So I will give TNA credit on that. They've done a better job of it. But at this point, it's just these characters don't matter anymore, and nothing in TNA really matters. So it's hard to really care about what's going on. It was a little bit goofy, though. The thing they did at the Backlash pay-per-view in 2009 is Jeff Hardy tied up Matt Hardy with the duct tape on the table. Here, Matt Hardy was just laying there on the table for the longest period of time. It was a little bit unbelievable, but I did feel it was well done, although Jeff Hardy almost completely missed the table and then pretty much landed splat on the floor. That was not a pretty sight, and to do that on TNA when there's not that many people watching and barely any people in the building, you know, he's crazy. What can I say? Alright, that'll wrap it up for this edition of NoDQ&A video. Subscribe at youtube.com/NoDQCAW and stay tuned to NoDQ.com for all the latest regarding Payback, and I will see you guys next time.